All right, hi, it is 10:41. My name is Julio Capó, and we are here at the Stonewall National Museum and Archives in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And it's Pride Month. It's a beautiful day outside, which is a nice little... we're here with Tawny. Tawny, could you tell us and spell your name for us?
My name is Tawny Petillo, Tawny, Petillo, Petillo. I've been in the gay community for a very long time, obviously because of my mother being gay. And I started in the gay community probably around 1977, I believe. I was with a boyfriend who went to the big house, unfortunately, and I had two co-workers in a restaurant that I worked in that always went to the Copa. And told us wonderful stories about the Copa, so I decided, oh, what a great place for me to be. And I never left. Stayed there forever. Well, in the gay community forever. Loved it.
That's amazing. Can you tell, for those who may not know I know, but what was the Copa?
The Copa was a very large disco, a gay disco. It was on Federal Highway. I know, I was like, it was on Federal Highway, one of the first huge discos down here. Probably one of the first gay bars ever, that big. Yeah. And it was fabulous. It really was. It was almost like, what was it, 54 in New York? Was it 54?
Oh, like Club Studio 54.
Like Studio 54, that's right. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Like Studio 54 in New York. And it was great. It was a lot of fun. It was crazy. It was those were crazy years. Those are very crazy years.
When you say that you were part of the community, what does that look like? So were you working there?
After, then I started working there because I was also party decorating at that time. And the guy that I was party decorating for wanted to go to Italy, and wanted me to go with him. Well, I needed money, obviously. So one of the guys that I waitered with was a bartender at Shangri-La, which was a new bar that had just opened. And they needed somebody at the front desk. Ta-da! And here I am. Wow. So I started there, and I worked there. Goodness, I worked at Shangri-La for about 4 years or so. Then I hopped over to, let's see, I've worked at a lot of bars. I worked at a lot of bars.
Were they primarily gay bars?
Oh, yeah. They were always gay bars. Oh, yeah.
You felt comfortable in that space?
Oh, very comfortable with, with the gay community. I ended up, like, straight people they were boring. They really are. They're just boring, and they're just rude. They're just rude. So, I stayed in the gay community.
That's amazing.
No, they did. No, I just couldn't handle the straight community anymore. So, stayed there, and just, those are my babies. They're my babies. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where were you born?
Born in New York.
Yeah.
Okay. But my mom brought her and me down here to South Florida when I was 4.
Okay.
And ditched my father, or he ditched us. I don't really remember who did what to who. And also with him, he owned, I come out by this very honestly, he owned the largest female impersonating bar in New York City.
Wow.
Okay, called the 82 Club. And their deal was all the ladies that were doing the show were obviously drag queens, were all men, except for one woman.
Right.
Okay. The waiters, quote unquote, were all women dressed as men. They were all lesbians. Okay. That was his club for quite a few years.
Wow.
Okay. But he didn't start it. Okay. Yeah. He didn't start it. His sister started it. Okay. Anna started it.
So your aunt.
Yeah. My aunt started it. That's another long story. But anyway, and yeah.
Is it something you want to talk? You don't have to, but
it involves the Cosa Nostra, the mafia, and stuff like that. So,
so there were somehow connections.
It gets a little complicated. And I'm like, I just found out about it myself, like when I was like 20, 30 years old. I found out about it. I'm like, seriously? Yeah. So I'm like, oh yeah. So it gets a little weird. It gets a little strange. Somebody contacted me a couple of years ago, wanted to talk to me about Anna. I didn't know her. So
Anna was the aunt.
Yeah.
Your aunt.
You know, and what she did, because she was really, when you talk about doing things for the gay community, she was really out there, okay? But I didn't know her, and I couldn't tell this guy anything. You know, I said, I'm really sorry. I wish I could help you, but I did not know anything.
When you say she was really out there, what do you mean?
She started gay bars, and the mafia was really pissed off. They were so mad. They were so mad.
This is back in New York.
This is way back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because her husband had been deported. He was in Italy, and they wanted him to do something about it, and he wouldn't. And
they didn't want the competition.
They just, back in those days, you didn't do anything gay.
Right.
You just didn't do anything. Right. And she started, and it was like a big to-do. Right. That's all I know.
Okay.
But who did it and what? I'm like, no.
It's like a game of whodunnit, of Clue.
I'm like, I'm out. I'm out.
So Tawny, when you say that, your mother and your father moved you here when you were 4 years old. When was that, if you feel comfortable saying so?
All right, I was born in 47.
Okay.
Okay.
So early 50s.
So I would say, yeah, probably 50, 51, something, I would assume, because like when you're that old, I don't remember dates. I'm bad at dates now. I'm still bad at dates. Okay. But we were in Miami Shores. We were in Miami Shores. And we were there, let's see, 4 years old. Then 6th grade, I think we moved to Miami Beach. Oh, right. Then we moved to North Bay Village.
Oh.
North Bay Village. Very hoity-toity. and then we went to Miami Beach on Pine Tree Drive. Oh yeah. Very hoity-toity. Okay. Please. And yeah.
Do you know why your family moved to Miami in the 50s or in that time?
Well, I think what it was is I think my mother was honestly trying to get away from New York because it was I have a feeling it was getting a little too much for her. Okay. She still wanted to work. Okay. And she also knew that growing up in New York was not a good thing for a kid. Okay. And she was one of the, she'd rather be, I never forget her saying that she'd rather be a big fish in a little pond, which was Miami, than a little fish in a big pond, which was New York.
That's so interesting. Yeah, Miami was still...
Okay, because Miami was like almost nothing back then.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah.
If you can, tell us a little bit about your early, years in Miami, what that was like, and...
I hated it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Well, because the parents knew who my mother was. Okay. The kids were very cruel, very rude, very mean. Parents were very rude, very mean. They kicked me out of the Brownies. I couldn't be, no, they kicked me out of the Brownies because they found out who my mother was. Wow. Yeah. And yeah, it was awful. It was awful.
Was it that she was not well? I'm sorry about that, by the way. Is it that she was too famous,
she was a stripper, and they just didn't understand. Yeah. What, a stripper? Oh no, they just did not understand. Yeah. This is the 50s, this is 50s, and they just no way.
So it's kind of like a moral.
Oh thing, yeah, it was it was terrible. So there were some good ones though. Okay. I got to tell you. All right, there's two good ones on her. Okay, so when we lived in North Bay Village, okay, now North Bay Village was actually it was restricted at that time. Okay.
And you mean in terms of racial segregation or anti-Semitic?
It was supposedly no Jews.
Right.
Okay. But there were. Okay. Shh, don't tell anybody. But there were. Okay. Now, at one point, what they did is they came after her because she had opened up a club by that time. She had basically stopped stripping. Okay. And she'd opened up a club. Now, she had a Cadillac, and she had a car with the wheel on the back, okay? And she had a cover on it, okay? And she had her name, Zorita, written on it, okay? Well, the garden club came knocking on her door and told her that she could not have her name on the wheel because it's advertising. Okay? You know how, see, now they do that. You know, you can't have a truck somewhere, you know, with advertising it. But this little garden club with their little white gloves on and everything came knocking on her door, I swear. And she went, really? She said, I'll sell. And my mother cursed a lot, okay? All right. I will try not to curse, okay? I will.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
I'll really try. But I do curse. I'll sell the house to, okay. And, okay, Miss Zorita, okay. And off they toddle. She went down to her favorite little sign maker, okay. And she had a sign made, and I swear I have the picture. I swear I have it. I'm not sure where, but I swear I have it. Okay. And she put on her tightest clothes, okay. And she had big boobs, okay. And she had striking white hair, okay. Sunglasses and a sign that said, house for sale, colored or white.
Wow.
And of course she called all the news. Wow. Look on his face was great. She called all the newspapers, magazine, everybody, okay, TV stations, everybody. And Channel 7 was right across the way from us.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So this would be
called them all.
The 50s, 60s.
This is like early, probably 61.
Early
so
60s.
Very early 60s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
She was not a well woman. Okay.
No, good on her.
So they went, okay, you can have your name on your card.
Wow, because
Yeah.
that scared them so
Yeah.
much, the idea
Yeah,
of integrating.
I think they got really upset.
Wow.
Yeah.
So she had she. I mean, I want to talk specifically about her in just a second, but that is, I want you to talk about everything you want to talk about. But now, since we're here, was she often an advocate for Black civil rights?
She, my mother had no problem with blacks or any, not at all, not at all. Okay, no, not at all.
So she, this is a great example of how she
she had absolutely no problem. That's I think that was because of her, you know, the entertainment part of it, you know, of her.
Right.
Of her. When you're in entertainment business, if you don't integrate with everybody, then you're a jerk. I mean, you're something's wrong with you. Okay, because that's the entertainment business. It's everybody.
Right.
It's everybody.
Right.
So,
do you know if her performances were integrated in the 50s, or some of them might have been, or? It's okay if you don't know.
You know, I don't know, but I would assume. I'm trying to think. Because I went to, she would take me sometimes to, let me think. She would take me to rehearsals. Obviously, right. I would never go to the shows, but she dragged me to rehearsals if I didn't have somebody, to stay with or something like that. And I'm trying to think. The Gaiety, I'm trying to think. I think
the Gaiety, the club, the Gaiety?
Yeah, the Gaiety Club, I think she did. That place was hilarious. Oh my God. She would get these guys up doing hula hoops. Oh my God, it was hilarious. It was hilarious.
Were some of the other performers gay or lesbian as well? Do you know?
Some were, some weren't. One of the ladies, her name was Billy. That's all I remember. She was a friend of my mom's, and she lived right around the block from us. I just loved her and her husband. I just loved them. And they had a couple of kids and whatever. They were terrific. Some were, some weren't.
Yeah.
You know, even in her club, some were, some weren't. Some had kids, some didn't, you know. Yeah.
By the time so tell us about your mom. Tell us her name, if you know her full name. And
well,
when did she take on Zorita
okay,
as a
so
name?
all right, so first of all, her real name, okay, was Ada. She hated that name to no end, and no one was allowed to call her that except my grandmother. And she went by Catherine or Kitty. My father called her Kitty, I think, and Kitten. Most people, Catherine, Kate, yeah.
And her surname was her last name?
Okay, well that gets good too. Okay, now Grandma's last name was Brockett.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm assuming, but my mother didn't like that either. So now when she was 16, I think, 15 or 16, she got married. She just to get out of the house, basically. And I think her first husband was Boyd. Last name was Boyd. So she took that because she didn't like Brockett.
Do you know where she was born?
She was actually adopted.
Okay.
She was adopted in Cleveland, Ohio. Okay.
Wow.
And here's where it gets a little weird too, because Grandma told my mother that she was English. Well, I don't think so. Mm. I don't think so. Because her name, and I think that's where my mother ended up getting Zorita, because it's a Spanish name. Okay? Because her middle name was, on the birth certificate, was Carlotta.
Was what?
Carlotta.
Carlotta.
So I think Grandma was trying to tell her that she wasn't Spanish.
Wow.
But I think she was. But my mother was as white as that paper. She really was. The whitest woman I ever knew. I swear. She really was. I think I get the dark from my dad, the Italian. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
How interesting. So she took on the name Zorita early?
Oh, yeah. That was like one of the first things. Yeah.
So a teenager, it sounds like, or something like that.
I'm trying to think when she really started dancing. She got married 16, 17. Probably about 18, I would assume that she started dancing. Yeah.
So by the time you all left New York, and I'm assuming when you say New York, you mean the city, of course.
Yeah.
She was a dancer. She was a performer.
Yeah. She was already dancing early. Yeah.
All right. So when we say dancing, what do we mean?
What do we mean?
Whatever you're comfortable with.
I'm assuming. I haven't the foggiest idea. Seriously, I don't. And honestly, she would tell stories on herself, but not personal, not that personal on herself. Okay, she was really very close to the chest on stuff like that. Like if she did if which I don't know, if she ever did anything really bad, she would never have told me, or told anybody else. Okay, not a whisper.
These were larger clubs, like, or were they smaller owned clubs? Like, I mean, at some point she became an entrepreneur, so she owned her own club, right? So tell us a little bit about that.
And I worked there too.
Ooh, tell us about that too, if you want to.
Oh my God. Well, it was almost a punishment. Okay, I got in trouble. I don't know. I did something wrong. I was always doing something wrong as far as she was concerned. But she owned this little teeny club. And
what was it called?
It was,
if you remember,
Zorita Show Bar. Okay. And it was the first one she owned. It was the Castaways. I don't know if you remember. All right, there was a bar at 163rd Street and Collins Avenue.
Oh, right.
Okay, and it was a massive bar. It was called the Castaways, and they had a little bar across the street on the ocean. The Castaways was actually. Was there a canal? Anyway, And she rented the little tiny bar inside the Castaways. Okay. And she was making money hand over fist. Yeah. Okay. Well, the guy who owned it said, "Oh, she's making money. I'm going to take it over," because she was just renting it. Okay. And my mother went, "Really? You're going to take it over?" I don't think so. So in the middle of the night, she went and took everything out that she wanted. Yeah. Okay. And then took a knife to all the booths and anything that she could rip up. She paid for it. She bought it. Okay, it was hers as far as she was concerned. So she went, "Go ahead, make a bar out of it." Okay, and left. I was away at school at the time. Right. Okay.
In Miami. Yeah.
No, I was in Howie in the Hills. There, private school.
All right.
I was in Howie in the Hills. So she then bought a place down the road at 176th and Collins Avenue. Okay. It was just a little storefront. Okay. And it went deep. Okay. And bar. And you walk in, the bar is over here, and there's tables. Okay. Whatever. And then you go down, and the behind is all the dressing rooms and whatever. But then they had a place you go up, and it was called Heaven. And it was just
the stairwells to heaven.
Well, it was, booths and whatever.
I see.
Okay. Anyway, so I don't know. I got in trouble for something. I don't remember what I did. And she made me work there. I'm like, oh, God. Okay, so what I was doing, because I wasn't even old enough, I was checking IDs.
The irony.
But what she had me in was a whole nother story. Okay, I was cute back then. And I was in a long line bra, that just came here, and right to my right, cinched me, and a big bow on my butt. Okay. And I'm checking IDs and fishnet stockings. Thank you. And I'm checking IDs. So this went on for a little while. And then, let's see, I left, finally. And she had that for a while. She had that for quite a while. I did that for maybe a month or two. Okay. I got out of that. I wasn't in trouble anymore for...
Who knows what reason.
I aggravated her a lot, apparently. Well, I wasn't the perfect little child or whatever. So anyway, so then she and the lady that she was with at the time, Betty, we don't like Betty. We don't like Betty. Okay. Betty was mean. Betty took a gun to her. Oh, goodness. Oh yeah, Betty was really bad. She was a drunk and it was awful. The problem was she was so financially involved with her. It was hard for her to get out.
So when you say the woman she was with at the time, what does that mean?
Her lover, her significant. They lived together. We all lived together and everything.
With your father as well?
No. He's in New York. That was it. We came down here when I was 4. He stayed there.
Oh, he stayed in New York.
Yeah, he stayed in New
I
York.
see.
So
were they married or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they ever divorce? Do you know? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Somewhere along the line.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and Betty was. They were so financially tied. Okay. Now at this point. They went to Europe. I went
Zorita and Betty.
And Betty went to Europe. I did not go because they went with another couple. Okay. And I stayed
also women?
Yeah, 2 women. I forget who they were. Anyway, so I stayed with my godparents. Okay. And Art and Patton, both cops. Okay, by the way. Both cops. And when they came back, when Betty and my mother came back, I said, I'm not coming home. I'm staying with Art and Pat.
Wow.
I said, I can't do this anymore. I couldn't watch Betty do this to her anymore. This was like ridiculous. And my mother was like absolutely bonkers. I said, look, that's your life. If that's what you want, that's fine. I can't do that anymore. Yeah. I have to pull myself out of this.
How old were you more or less at this time?
I was 19. Okay. I was 19. Okay. And it was so fun because Art and Pat, they taught me how to drive. Okay. Got 40 pounds off of me. Okay. I had a job. I never had a job before. And I'm 19. Okay. And I said, I want to stay here. I want to stay here.
How did she respond to that?
Oh, she wasn't happy at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not at all. I said, but this is the life you want.
Yeah.
Okay. And I finally realized it's hers.
So this would have been the mid-60s.
Oh, no, this is later.
This is later.
No, wait. Yeah, mid-60s? Yes, I know, I'm asking her.
You're fine. You're fine.
Yes. Yeah, because I hadn't gotten married yet. Yes.
Mid-late 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was Betty someone she worked with?
No, she just met her.
Okay.
My mother was also one of those that she could not be without someone, so she would leave someone and automatically be with somebody else or have someone on the side. She just couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, boom, we ended up with Betty.
Was this her? Do you know if this was her first relationship?
Oh, no. I've lived through a few of them. I've lived through a few of them. The first one, oh dear, Mickey Mars. Mickey Mars was the first one that I remember.
Yeah.
Okay. And all I remember about her is I was hiding from my mother one day, and the couch was round, and obviously the wall, there's and I'm hiding behind it, and she reaches and grabs me. That's the only thing I remember about her. Okay, that she grabbed me from like that. That's all I remember.
Oh, goodness.
The second one, that's the one I love. Lou Miller. Now Lou Miller was in this community for a very, very long time. She worked in the bars down here. There was a bar in Hallandale Beach called 800 North. It was a lesbian bar, one of the first ones. No one knew about this place, okay? And
it was called 800 North.
And it was so weird because I used to go to the 800 North up front, okay? And it was a big building, okay? And it was this little bar that all of us from the Round Table, we all worked at the Round Table restaurant right down the street in Hallandale. And we'd all go there after work. I mean, there was like 7 or 8 of us. Every night we go drinking there.
Wow.
And we'd see this little red light go on every so often. And the barmaid, Joni, would take something and go in the back. Finally, after, I don't know, a year or so, we go, what are you doing? She says, well, I'm taking food back to the girls in the back. And we said, what girls? What back? She said, well, there's a lesbian bar in the back. We said, what?
Wow.
So I said, get the hell out of here. So, of course, my friend Martha and I, we got to go back and see. So we sneak back, and I'm like, oh, my God, that's Lou. Well, my mom's ex-lover, right? I'm like, oh, my God. So we
wow.
like, oh, my God. Yeah. So Lou, I'm assuming, okay, because I haven't heard from her in the last 5 years, I'm assuming Lou's passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because I used to get little cards from her every now and then.
I'm sorry.
She moved up to North Carolina somewhere, and became a teacher, and just a lovely. I just liked her.
Oh.
Just loved her. Just a one. And she always had little cars, little MG cars. She just loved those little cars. Yeah.
Do you know what she did for a living?
No. Nothing. I think she basically sort of managed Mom and managed the house and whatever. I don't think she worked. Mom did buy a bar, bought her a bar. Yeah, the Mug Bar. I remember going to see it and whatever. And yeah.
Was it a lesbian bar? or would have?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I don't think so because it was in Miami somewhere, and it looked like no. It looked like no. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When you said the 800 North story, this would have been the 60s, or more or less, if you were.
I'm trying to think now. Was I married yet?
She would have already met Lou because you would have.
Oh yeah. All right. So I. Oh no, she's already with Betty now. I wasn't married yet. Or was I? Oh yeah, I was already divorced. I know. I'm terrible with time.
No, you're perfect.
Really
it's okay if you don't remember. There's
time.
no. It's okay. You can just say.
My age is showing.
No,
okay.
It's not.
Let me think.
Or let me. I could ask a separate question. Or
we'll have to go back, won't we?
We could do whatever you like.
Yeah, it'll pop into my head.
You're fine. How did people then learn about like 800 North? Like, how do
It was a neighborhood bar.
Okay.
Basically. Okay. And at least for us, because this was a straight restaurant that I worked in. It was the Round Table Restaurants. There was like 5 of them, and the back. I was so shocked that there was this huge, and it was huge. This bar.
And you had worked there, so you were right.
Like,
so I mean,
where?
If you didn't know it was there,
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And it was so funny because the owner, there was a husband and wife that owned it, and she was always inside, and the husband was always outside, sitting outside, just watching the parking lot and everything. And we always wondered, we're always up here, but he's watching the back because of the girls.
That's so interesting.
And keeping an eye and making sure no one bothered the girls. And I'm like, oh my God! It all just sort of clicked once we realized what was back there. It's like, oh my God!
That's so interesting. That's amazing. Do you think then it was largely through word of mouth? Like people just like there's this, yeah.
Because I don't think, I don't know, but I don't know if there were any gay rags back then.
Right.
I really don't.
They wouldn't circulate in that way. I mean, if we're talking about this.
No.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that most of that was word of mouth.
Do you think that was then catering to more locals than it was tourists or something? More locals?
Sure. Yeah.
So I wonder, does the bar Googie's does that ring a bell at all? It was a lesbian bar in the 50s, but it might have been too early. That is, you were just a baby.
I didn't. Yeah.
So
now my mother may have known about it.
Right.
Okay, but I didn't.
So tell us about your mother's understanding of her sexuality or of her.
I think she knew about this way, before. I really do, because I've got pictures of her with women, and I'm like, I know this is way before me.
Right.
I know this. there's no way that this is, later, but I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't know what turned her to figure out what she was doing. I don't know. I know that she left her house because her stepfather, tried to do funny things to her, and I think that was one of the motivating things for her to leave the house and get married and get out. Okay, and she did it 3 times. I'm the product of the 3rd. Okay, and I think I don't know. I think she was just either looking, let's have a kid and let me just get out of this. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And she said she always wanted to have a kid. Okay, but I don't know.
Are you her only child?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when she came to Miami, your father didn't come, and she she got into relationships with women as part of this.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Zorita was a big name, as you said. Like even the police knew her. I mean, obviously they took care of you, and which is a really interesting connection in and of itself.
Oh yeah.
Did locals know that Zorita was in relationships with women, or?
I'm trying to think. You know something? I don't think people thought like that back then. I really don't. I mean, and if they did, I don't think they let on, you know? No. Because, all right, later in life, okay, now my mom is living in Stewart, Palm City, okay? Her and Jackie had been up there for a very long time. They moved up there. And my mother, well, not my mother, basically Jackie. Jackie is very religious.
Who's Jackie?
Is her lover.
Okay.
Is her partner. And Jackie is very religious, okay? And when they got up there, she told everybody that she and Mom were sisters, okay? Because down here, everybody knew who they were,
right?
Okay, and Jackie just never sits right with her.
That's so interesting.
Cracks me up, okay? Because Missy, okay. But anyway, so they're up there, and everybody thinks that they're sisters because that's what Jackie told everybody.
Right.
Okay. Well, my mother one day blew the cover off of everything. She just had, I don't know, she just was in one of those moods, and she told one of the tellers, she's not my sister, she's my lover. What's the matter?
This is in Stewart?
Stewart. Yeah. Jackie had a fit.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, she had a fit. Yeah.
Is Jackie still around?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And lives locally here?
She's in Stewart.
Oh, right.
Yeah, she's still in Stewart.
Do you stay in touch?
Yes.
Oh goodness. You don't have to say anything. Yeah. You know.
Oh God, it's hard because I can't curse.
You could, I mean, you
no,
could do
to
whatever.
her.
Oh,
no,
I
with
see.
her.
Yeah.
I know. It's really hard. It's really hard because I know things, how my mother was or whatever, and she just, no. She doesn't, no.
Did these women that your mom was in relationships, it sounds like you've named 3, I think. So did they help raise you? Were you close to them? At this point you were an adult.
Yeah,
almost.
the only one that I would say, you know, I was close to and helped raise was Lou. Yeah. By the time Betty came around, I was older.
Yeah. And
I was away at school a lot. Okay. And the only reason I sort of gravitated towards her is because at that point I was so over my mother. Yeah, and that's really the only reason, you know. But
Gotcha.
Betty was so toxic. She was alcoholic, drugs. Oh my God, and tried to kill herself quite a few times. No, unsuccessfully, unfortunately. No, she. And my mother. This is another one of my mother's wonderful things. Now Betty had her own bedroom, thank God, and at this one house that we had on Pine Tree Drive, and it was on a canal, okay, and it had a dock, and my mother would go into Betty's bedroom in the middle of the night and whisper in her ear, "Jump off the dock."
Oh my goodness. How awful.
Jump off the dock.
Wow.
She never did, but she tried.
Wow. This would have been the 60s? Or 70s?
I guess. I don't, she was
don't
like,
know.
oh my God. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, Betty was, she was horrid.
Oh,
She was horrid. The things that she would say, she was verbally abusive. My mother was too, to me. She was verbally abusive, physically too. She was pretty bad. But Betty was verbally abusive to her. Okay, and I know how that feels, so I know how that felt to her.
Yeah.
Okay, and she waved a gun at her a couple of times. It's like, oh my God. That's like I said, that's when I was like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
This is your life. You have to fix this. I can't do that. Yeah. I don't do that. You know. And I say that I don't do drama, okay? I don't do it, and if that's what you want to do, you go right ahead. I only do fun stuff. I do not do drama.
None of that.
Dang.
You've kind of let some of this out of certainly throughout, but give us a sense of Zorita's personality. Like,
she had quite a few. Okay. No, she really did. Now, seriously, if she was here and if she had more than 2 people in front of her, she would have you on the floor screaming with laughter, telling stories on herself like you would not believe. Okay? She was very outgoing when there were people to be outgoing with. She was a performer. She really and truly was a performer. She was very quick-tempered. Okay? Very quick-tempered. She loved animals to the point where sometimes, Ma, she brought home a skunk once. Okay, thank you. It didn't have the stink on it, but okay. But also, never bite my mother. Okay, it bit her, so it went out.
Wow.
Okay, don't bite. Don't ever bite her. Okay. She loved animals. She loved having them around the house and whatever.
So I have to ask the big question since you mentioned animals.
Oh, the snakes.
She loves snakes.
No, she didn't.
Oh, she didn't love snakes. Well, the story seems to say she did.
No, this is all right. First of all, now, Gypsy Rose Lee. Okay. Gypsy Rose Lee always told everybody.
Who's Gypsy Rose Lee? Just tell us a little.
Oh, Gypsy Rose Lee was the stripper of the century.
Okay.
Okay. And she told my mom 2 things: always have a gimmick, and put your money in stocks. That's what those were the 2 things she always told my mother. Okay. So where she came up with the idea of the snake, I seriously do not know. I don't know, and I really wish I did. But these things, okay, were under my crib in pillow sacks. Okay. Thank you, Mom. Okay. No wonder no one came and saw me when I was a kid. Okay, but anyway. Now, the stories on the snakes. Okay. The thing with the snakes is that you have to feed them every 2 weeks or something. Okay. So, well, she didn't do it. Okay, trust me on this. All right. So she would have a snake handler come and switch out the snakes. Okay. Every 2 weeks she would do that. Well, at the end of the snake dance, okay, she takes the snake and holds it up. Ta-da. Okay. Well, one of them shit on her head.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, yeah. Oh, goodness is right.
Yeah.
So, she didn't like that.
She didn't like that.
No, she did not.
It's interesting because if you read the newspapers, go ahead, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So she scotch taped his butt.
Oh, that's awful.
So he wouldn't do that again.
During performances.
Well,
or any time.
She just did it. She
I hope he wasn't always
She didn't think about it. She just scotch taped his butt. So now the handler comes.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, switch out the snakes. Well, that snake is eaten, but he's not shitting because she taped up his butt.
Oh, wow.
So he died. So now he brings her to court.
The handler does.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because she killed his snake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She brings the snake and me
Oh, good.
to court.
Wow. That's a story. Goodness.
Okay. The guy says, "What?" Yeah. Okay. He's gonna love this.
You have a photo?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wait, I have to put glasses on. Oh yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, also awful.
And
lots of things.
And they threw it out of court.
They dismissed the case.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm sitting there going, "Nake." Nake. Like an idiot. Okay.
Oh my God. This is you in court with
the snake.
With the snake. Is that your mother?
Uh-huh.
She had dyed her
She
hair.
had, no,
by
she
the
well,
point.
she has black hair.
Oh, I see.
Oh yeah, she
So,
always originally has black hair. Yeah.
oh my God, look at how cute. I mean, it's also horrifying. It's just I'm just going to describe the photo. Zorita is sitting in a chair, and there's a small child, which is Tawny. And Zorita has what looks like a boa.
It's a boa constrictor.
It's a boa constrictor.
That's what she used, right?
And Tawny's just petting the head of a snake in court. Well, that's a different kind of story.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you want it.
You have. I know. You have to see it. I know.
It's a very.
It's just.
I love that you brought that to show us. Thank you. That helps tell the story.
You have no idea. You have no idea.
I once read in the newspapers that she got a ticket for walking a boa constrictor.
Oh, I have the picture
of her doing it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Goodness. So and she hated snakes.
Yeah, she's not real fond of them.
She's not real fond.
No, of course not. No,
I also once read that one of her show acts was to consummate a marriage with the snake on stage.
Yeah. That one, I'm trying to think. I don't know if I ever saw that one, though. Hold on. Come here. Come on. Go away. Okay. Here's one of the... Oh. Well, it's not really walking down the street. Oh, this one cracks me up. And you have to look at the cars behind it.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh my goodness, yeah. She has the snake on a leash. So to describe the photo, Zorita's sitting down on like a small, on a little like fence.
Or something? Is that
it looks like a fence, like a kind of and she has the boa constrictor is just obviously lying on the ground on the floor, these looks like cars from the late 50s, early 60s, I would imagine.
That looks like the 40s almost.
You think 40s?
It really does. It really does. The pictures.
Oh, it could be very well. So it's sometime between the 40s and 50s, and the boa constrictor is on a leash,
just sitting there
on a leash, and she looks very bored. She's not ridiculous.
I know.
So the snakes were the gimmick.
Oh, yeah. Now, I do have one that she's in, I think, I don't want to say it's fur, but this big collar thing.
Okay.
And she's walking the thing down the street, Fifth Avenue. She also did it here. Oh, well, not here. On Miami Beach. On Miami Beach. She did it on Miami Beach, too.
So I have a question about... I've never seen actually I have seen a photo, but I wonder if it's something that you have heard or know something about, because she was always pushing boundaries, whether it was gender or sexuality or there was this there was an outfit that sometimes she wore that was, she would wear half
man, half woman.
Man and half woman.
I have that outfit.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I know. That's the only outfit I have.
That's
know.
Amazing.
And I have.
I'm gonna move into your house.
I have one picture of her in it. Oh, wow. It's a rarity too. You just can't find them. You just can't find them. And the thing is, she did it, and what she did, and I think that's what pissed me off, even as a kid. She gave it to Mickey Moore to do.
Oh. Right.
And I think that made me mad. And I didn't like that, because even then, even when I thought that was just, wow, that's fabulous. I just, for some reason, I have that.
That's amazing.
I know.
Do you know how she came up with that, or why she did it, or
nuts? No. She was crazy. No, when it came to stuff like that, she was, I don't know, she very, very artistic and whatever. It was hard to watch. It was hard to watch musicals and
she did movies.
Anything with her, because she was so critical. Look at that dress. Look at how she's standing. And it was like, oh God, Ma, come on. If you look at my wedding pictures, she put your feet right. Get your feet. Oh no, criticizing.
Stage mom.
Oh no, get your feet right. And she's always criticizing all these Hollywood people. They don't stand right. What are they doing? Put your feet the way you're supposed to. Oh, that's amazing. What's that hemline? What are you doing? Oh no, you can't. You could not. She had an eye
for that.
And
so there's like watching that photo, I've seen a photo of her doing the half man, half woman outfit. Something like that to me suggests that she was kind of like winking at least to the audience that she, might have, been into the women and into,
I don't know. I don't know if she had that.
Or at least that she was tolerant.
Honestly, I don't think she had that. To do that. I think it was just something back there. It just sort of came out. I don't think she was trying to hit anybody over the head with it.
Yeah.
Okay? Because she really wasn't like that. She wasn't, she was one of those that said, I'm not going to rattle someone's cage. Okay? If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't.
Right.
Okay? I'm sort of the same way. If you understand it, great. If you don't, fine.
Right.
That's up to you.
Yeah.
That's up to you.
So I want to go back. This is so interesting. Tawny, thank you for sharing all of this. This is just a dream. So thank you for sharing everything with us. Tell us a little bit about that time you were in rehearsals, or several times. I don't know. Like, what was that like to see your mom in that space? And
it was really interesting to see how she interacted with the girls. Okay, because she was just about as mean to them as she was with me. No, she was. No, she was very bossy. Okay, she really was, and she wanted things her way and right then and there, and boom, dum, boom.
Yeah.
And if you didn't do it, oh yeah, you heard, or yeah, and that's the way she was. She was a little bit. She was a little bit like. And I ended up calling her Mommy Dearest for a very long time. Oh, yeah. And she never understood.
Did she not like? Oh, she didn't understand.
No, she didn't get it.
She didn't get the reference. I see. So only you knew.
She didn't get it.
She
didn't get it. And I'm like, you don't get it? And she, what do you mean? I'm like, okay.
I'm going to go home and rewatch it.
It's like, okay, sorry, Mom. Mom, you're just, no.
So what was she like on stage? Did she command the stage?
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, she never really took any dancing lessons or anything like that. She was just very, very fluid, I guess, for lack of a better word. She didn't dance. Back in those days, they didn't dance.
Yeah.
They just, everything was a hand movement or anything. She was very, I don't know the word. I just don't know the word.
She was very fluid.
Very fluid, and the way she held her hands and how things, it was beautiful.
Artistic.
It was just very beautiful.
You said, because you used the word stripper earlier, when did she stop stripping? Or
oh, dear. Trying to think. Well, I think when she opened up the bars. All right, it was before I got married, obviously. All right, let me think. It was before I got married, so I would say she probably mid-60s.
Okay.
Maybe.
You mean the mid-1960s?
Yeah.
Not her age. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, she probably was. I don't know. I don't. I'm really bad with ages and stuff
It's
like
okay,
that.
you're
I'm
fine.
so bad.
You're fine. It's okay not to what you remember.
If I had my friend Marty here, I could call him, but he died.
Oh,
I
I'm so
hate him for
sorry.
doing that to
Oh,
me.
baby,
I
I'm
do.
sorry.
I'm so mad at him for that. Marty was our timekeeper. He knew when everybody did everything. Marty, when did I do that? When did I do that? And he knew what I was wearing too, which really pissed me off.
Tawny.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sorry for
He's
your
always
loss.
with me.
That's
He's always here.
beautiful.
But I think about mid-60s, early mid-60s.
So by the time she became a business owner, she was more. She moved more into like the kind of entrepreneurial.
Oh yeah,
Or
she got the
performing.
bar. She had the bar, and that was with Betty. I was with Betty.
So tell us a little bit about, if you can, was she involved in politics in some way? Like, did she have?
Nope.
No.
Nope. And she never really talked about it.
Okay.
Nope.
How about would she go to these gay places like those lesbian bars, like not as a performer but as a
the only
patron?
Well, I would assume she did.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm assuming that she did in New York.
Okay.
Okay, but down here is a different story. First of all, at that time there weren't very many.
Right.
Okay, but I was at my first Halloween there was a bar on Miami Beach called the Mayflower. Okay, and I was at my first Halloween at the Mayflower because her hairdresser, this was so funny, my grandma, oh my God, my grandmother and what was it, oh God, I can't remember her name, and aunt, I'll think of her name anyway, two old ladies, okay. My grandmother, and at that time, I think Grandma was like 90. But anyway, and they're sitting there watching TV, and Robert was the hairdresser, our hairdresser. He was so cute. And he was dressing up for Halloween, okay, and going to the bar. So he came into the house. Now, he's been doing Grandma's hair and whatever, and Mom's hair forever. And as a boy, okay, and he came into the house to show Mom his dress, okay, and beautiful yellow dress with his ass hanging out, okay. With his heart, with his ass, okay? And we're all going. And he goes up to Grandma and goes, hi, Grandma, and she looks up at him. Can you?
She didn't recognize
me, Robert. Oh, it is not. And she went back to watching TV. So we all go over to and this is the first time I ever saw this gala, okay, of, the costumes and the whole... Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How old was I? 14, 15 years old.
Okay.
I was like, oh my God, this is
early
fabulous.
60s,
Oh yeah.
early 60s.
This was great. Yeah.
That's amazing.
This was great. Ooh, the Mayflower.
The Mayflower.
And I know that she would go in there occasionally. Okay.
Not as a performer, just
no,
as
yeah. Because she was Lou at the time? Oh no, it was Betty. Oh no, it was Betty.
Tell us how you really feel.
Oh no, it was her.
It sounds like she had a whole community of people who were, gay and lesbian and lots of other things.
They all knew. I think, her little circle and whatever, they all had their own little circle. Yeah.
Because, she told us that she vacationed with two in Europe, with two women who...
Yeah.
So she had a community of folks.
Yeah. But it wasn't, like they did, look, you guys now, it's a whole different story. You guys can walk the streets and hold hands and do stuff that, people just could not do. Right. You couldn't even, it was really tough for them back then.
Can you say a little more about that? Do you know any stories or something about any of, some of the hardships or?
You just knew that it was, you just
people
didn't.
Were just scared.
You just didn't.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
It wasn't even it was just no.
You just didn't.
And I think that's really stuck with Jackie. Okay, not only the religion thing, okay, but the fact that you just don't tell people that you're gay. That's all. You just don't. Well, and I really do try with her too. It's like, seriously, Jackie, it's okay. But some people just can't. But back then, you did not.
Right.
Pure and simple, And I think that's why when I was a kid, it wasn't the fact that she was living with a woman. It was the fact that she was a stripper. Period. Because I don't even think they entertained that idea.
Right. That wouldn't have crossed their mind.
Even the people in the neighborhood. Now, in the neighborhood, every house had a kid or two. Okay, and we all played in the street. We all played together, okay, and all the families knew who we were. Who my mother was, and whoever was living, at the time. And most of the time it was Lou, okay, and they all knew her, but nobody ever said anything. None of the parents, none of them.
Do you think they knew?
You just don't know.
Yeah, it just wasn't an issue.
Not an issue.
So interesting.
I don't know. But the parents, because of my mother, not because of, anything else.
Not because of the relationship.
And that's what the kids would say, oh, your mother. Okay, fine.
Because she was a stripper or burlesque dancer or whatever.
Stripper.
Stripper.
Yeah.
That was the word.
Yeah. And then my mother said, well, ask them how they know. Did their father come and see me? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to say that, okay? Yeah, Ma, I'm going to say that.
That's funny. That's very funny.
She'd tell me things to say, and I said, yeah, I'm going to say that, okay. No.
So tell us about her final years as she...
Well, Jackie and her moved up to Stewart. Wow. Whew. They'd been up there.
She had enough of Miami.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, there was a terrible, terrible murder right next door to the house that they were living in. And Miami was, Miami Beach was getting a little wonky.
It was changing.
Everything was changing.
This would have been the 80s?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. And she just had enough. So they bought this property up in Stewart. And they raised cats. Well, they started to raise cats down here, but they raised cats and they showed them and the whole. Oh, please!
Wow. She
ended up becoming this little farmer person.
Well, she always loved animals.
I swear to God, they had chickens. They had 2 horses, but they got rid of the horses right away. When they bought the property, this was really funny. They bought the property as is. Because apparently, and I mean as is, the guy who owned the house was on the road all the time. His wife ended up being an alcoholic and drove her car up a tree and died. He just backed away and said, sell the house with everything in it, I'm out. So my mother looked at everything and said, I'll take it. I'll take everything.
Wow.
Okay. So, furniture and everything. Okay. So this way she said, I don't have to decorate. This is great. I'm fine. Yeah. So the only thing the guy wanted was the player piano. Okay. My mother goes, no. She says, but it fits right there. What am I going to put there? He goes, but it's the only thing I want. She goes, no. She still has a piano. Wow. It's still there. So anyway, and there's a place in the back, there's an apartment in the back. The place is fabulous. Okay. They raise cats. She's got chickens. Okay. She's a country farmer now. She's going out and getting eggs in the morning. I'm like, really? Zorita's running out? Okay. She's got a little go-kart that she runs out in the back with. I'm telling you, it's hilarious.
That's amazing. It's
hilarious.
I love that.
Okay. And, the mower. The whole thing. I'm telling you, it's hilarious. It is. It's really funny. And garage sales every single weekend. Every single weekend. I'm telling you, they were hilarious.
She would host them, or she'd visit?
Oh no, she's out. She's out buying.
At...
She's out buying crap. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And bringing it all to me. Lucky me.
So you remain close in her, of course.
It's close. Stay in Stewart. It's fine.
That's amazing.
Stay in Stewart.
Who doesn't love a good garage sale?
Oh God. Oh please. She and Jackie were absolutely hilarious.
I love that. Who doesn't love cats?
Just lots and lots of stuff. And she was fine. And then what started it? Did she? Was it her fall? I think the fall started it. Yeah, she fell and she did fine. She rehab, did fine, threw everything away, the walker and the whole thing, did good. And I don't know, something happened and boom.
She passed.
Yeah. She was 86. Oh. She did good. But you could tell that she'd had enough.
She passed in 2001, or I think? Or?
Yeah, just after 9/11.
Right.
Yeah. I'm really bad with dates. I couldn't
fine.
even tell you the date. But see, because I went through the AIDS thing, I do not remember when people died. I remember their birthday. I can't remember.
To remember their.
I don't want to remember when they died. I don't do that.
That makes
sense. I don't remember when my mother. I know it was 2001.
No, yeah. Do you want to talk about that? Working in the bars and during HIV/AIDS and during the early years of HIV/AIDS. You don't have to.
That was probably one of the worst. Yeah. Okay, one of the hardest. I was at Club 21 at the time. And I lost a lot then.
I'm sorry.
Jesus. Man, that was tough. The first one was Larry Danella. And Larry was one of the ones that when I told you that I was working in a bar and they came and told me all these wonderful stories about Copa, that was him. And one of the prettiest thing you've ever seen. Big. What was I saying
about Larry?
I do forget a lot.
No, you're
okay.
fine.
He was actually one of the sweetest things in the world. I actually just fell in love with him. Oh God, crush. Yeah, I did. I had a crush on him. But he was so cute and such a sweetie. He was about 6-something, black hair, just gorgeous, and just the sweetest thing. He was a bartender, and he wanted to be a dancer, and he worked out, and he taught me basketball, okay, and we were roommates for a couple of years. He was just such a great guy.
I'm sorry, Tom.
Yeah, and it just dominoed. He was like one of the first. I think it was 87. I think he died. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tony.
Yeah, it was tough. It was really bad. And of course, working in the bars. Oh my God! I mean, they were just dropping like flies. It was horrid. Yeah. And the sad thing is that some of the kids now just don't understand. You know, they just don't understand, and that sort of breaks my heart.
Yeah.
And I just, it's like, people, do you not understand? It's a crapshoot, because it's a crapshoot. It's not like, oh, you're immune or it's a crapshoot, total crapshoot. I mean, I know people now, who've survived 18, 30 years. It's still a crapshoot, though, You can't be fooling around out there. You got to be careful. Everybody.
Yeah.
But.
I bet it meant a lot for them to have you as a friend and as a support.
It was hard.
System.
It was really hard. I mean, how many because I sat by bedsides way too many.
I'm so sorry.
My babies, and they were, because I really am the oldest. I got into that, and all these guys are so much younger than me. I mean, even this one, and he's 61.
Yeah.
He's only 61. My best friend Jimmy, he's 61 years old. All these guys are so much younger.
We have a beautiful family. Beautiful family.
I miss my babies. But
thank you for sharing.
It ain't easy. But onward.
I'll ask one more question, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
And then this has been so powerful, Tony. I want to talk to you forever. What would you say her legacy is, Zorita's legacy?
Wow.
How do you want her to be remembered?
Well, I think she did. Oh, goodness. I don't know. I don't know what she would. I don't know. I think she did very good for the burlesque community. Okay. I think she really tried to keep it. I want to say clean, but that's not. I need a better word for clean.
Like mainstream?
Not mainstream, just not disgusting. You know what it's hard.
Vulgar, not vulgar.
Yes. Okay, not vulgar. Okay.
I'm not speaking for
you.
No,
but but it's perfect. No, it's a perfect word, because I think that's one of the things that she said, well, that you're not supposed to be vulgar up there. You're supposed to be enticing and beautiful and and very, I'm going to probably get in trouble for this one, but, ladylike.
Right. It was an art for her.
It was. Yeah. It was an art form. It's not, you're not supposed to be up there being vulgar. It is. It's a perfect word. And I think she did her best to do that, and she really did like teaching, teaching the strippers, the new ones, especially when she opened the club, when she opened up her own club, she would spend hours and hours and hours with these girls, you know, teaching them, you know, how to do this or how to move your hand right or how to, you know, because just because you say, oh, I can dance, doesn't mean that you can
Dance.
you
She was
know,
a mentor.
entice or whatever. You know, there's an art form to this. You just don't get up there and shake your ass. And that's exactly what she said. You don't get up there and shake your. I could hear her in my head. Please don't do this. She's in my head now. But that's exactly it. You're not up there just to shake your ass. You know, yeah.
Thank you, Tawny.
Oh.
This was incredible. Thank you for. Is there anything you want to? Anything else I left out that you
I'm
want to?
listen. I'm you. Whatever you need.
You've been amazing.
I'm really bad with
You've been perfect.
things like this.
Not bad at all. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your time, for sharing your stories, and for all you do. It's powerful and beautiful.
Thank
to
you.
hear.
Thank you.
Thank you.